up, you guys? I'm back. There has been so many requests and DMs on Instagram. If you're not following on Instagram, go do that because that's where I've been. So I'm pretty much on stories every single day. I am 100% in my DMs every single day. But I wanted to show up here with, just a sit down Q&A. I've got my main man, Carl, with me. We're hanging out. You can follow Carl on Instagram also. But there has been a request to just, come in, do a video, hang out. I'm sitting on my bedroom floor because that's where, we usually hang out and have the real talks. But the other day on my stories, I had said, ask me anything. Let's talk about, to me, one of the most important topics in the past 12 months has been, how can I make a living from home? How can I build a business on the internet? Let's talk social media. How can I do that? How can I do it if I'm really shy? And just ask me anything about either how I've done it, about Team Uproar. I get asked a lot what it is the heck that I do. And I get that. It's kind of confusing. So I'm going to go through it. But one thing that I want you guys to know is I am going to try and answer. I'm going to do this differently than how I usually do it. I'm going to do my best to answer every single question on here. It's going to be very transparent, very real as per usual. I'm going to answer the hardest questions I can and just give you my most honest answers. I have not even looked at the questions up until now. I have them propped up on my screen. So a bunch of you guys asked questions. These are all the questions I'm going to try and go through. We'll try, but it's all about, building a business, building an income from home or on social media. And that's something I was able to do. I started over 8 years ago. So I have a lot of experience, ups and downs. I have a lot of opinions in the matter. And I wanted to be able to take you guys through a continuation of this. So in two ways. One, I want to be able to help as many people as possible, whether you want to know exactly what it is that I do and be a coach on Team Uproar, or if you just need help, like let's say you own an Etsy shop and you need help with that, I want to be able to help you. So today what I'm going to do is go over all the questions as best I can. And what I'll do is I'll probably pick about 3 that are a really in-depth topic. And I already have an idea of one that's going to be in here, and they're going to get sassy and they're going to get spicy and you're going to feel the feels and you might get emotional and you might dream a little bit bigger today. And you also might just get the full transparency version, full authentic version of what I really freaking think about a lot of things and just how I've been able to do it. And then what I'm going to do with those 3 topics is I'm going to go into my Angie Belmar Vlogs YouTube channel and dive in deep to each of those. This will also all be on the podcast as well as those. And then what I want to do is next week, we're going to do a totally free group for 3 days, answer all of these questions in a private setting where I will go live with you guys and hang out. So it'll ultimately be a 3-day workshop. I did this early January, and I want to go into not only how I've built this, what I do as a coach, how my business is actually grown over the past 12 months, and just what we're seeing. And I just think that that's something that might be able to help many of you guys, not only with income growth is one thing, but I think your happiness levels and progress, and I'm going to talk about all of that today. But I just think right now, I'm still in lockdown. I am so grateful that I have this business opportunity. I'm so grateful that I have this community. And I just think that even more than the income, I think that it's more about having that support and having people that I can talk to and having social media, but also having the career that I do and having the people around me that I do has been honestly a game changer and probably a lifesaver this past year. And I didn't realize that I needed it as much as I do. So it's absolutely insane. I'm going to go through all of that with you guys. So I will leave the link for the free group down below. I talked about it a little bit on my Instagram. Like I said, we've done it before and it was so fun. It's going to be limited so that it can still be a special group and be small and intimate and VIP, but I'm going to be live in there for 3 days. It'll kick off next Wednesday, and that will be the live kickoff and the welcome. Day 1 will be Thursday, day 2 will be Friday, and day 3 will be Saturday. And we're just going to hang out all together. So let's jump into this. All right. How do you say no to clients when you're afraid of conflict and you're also scared of getting a bad review? Okay. So if you are concerned of getting any form of conflict and you want to say no, example, if someone wants more of your time, I would say to have set pricing paired with the offerings that you have. If anything goes above and beyond that, example, if you want to say no to a client because they want a Zoom meeting with you, have that priced into one of your packages. I think that that's a really simple fact. For me, it is just clean cut and super clear that my coaches get more of my time. So I think that I would set up my business in 3 tiers. I have my following and my social media. That is, the preliminary tier that would basically have the least amount of priority in my business. The second tier would be my customers. They get a majority amount of my time. They get a lot of my time. They get some one-on-one in a group setting, and we hang out, and they get me in a private group setting. My coaches, they get everything. They're like my children. They're number one. So I have it in 3 categories, and I think it's really clear cut that way. So simplify it for yourself, but also make it clear to your customers of what you offer. And if someone does want something and you have to say no, be confident in the fact that you're a business owner. You can't always trade all of your time for $0. So you're not an octopus. You can't be everywhere, and just be confident in that. And just, if anything, you might gain more respect by having clear-cut rules like that. Do you ever get imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome, to me, no. I definitely was shy, and I was scared, and I was scared of judgment and all of that type of thing. But whenever I hear the word imposter syndrome or the saying, I always think of someone they feel like they're pretending to be something they're not. I was always me, and I always was super clear on what Angie wanted in the future. So if you ever feel like you have imposter syndrome because you aren't as successful as you want to be, you shouldn't feel like you're not an imposter in any way. It's you being authentically you, and you looking at you 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the future, wanting that life. And if you're damn certain that you're going after that life, then there's nothing to be impostering about. That's what you're going after. I could have felt like an imposter syndrome 8 years ago whenever I said, there's this neighborhood in Disney that I really want to live in, and that's my big goal. I could have felt like, oh my gosh, well, what if it doesn't happen? But I knew that was my long-term pie in the sky goal, and I was going after it. And how cool that 8 years ago, there were people that followed back then that have been brought on this journey up until this point. Like, that is so cool. So stop apologizing, own your stuff. It is you and you in the future. Dream big and freaking own that. Cool? What are the free songs that I use in my YouTube videos? Oh my gosh! I actually love this question. So what I'll do is I'll leave the link for this down below. I feel like I should do that more often. So I love, I've always loved editing the music and the intro. It's like a huge part of just the parts that bring me joy. I used to do full morning routines with just music. I wouldn't even do a voiceover, and then I started to get into the voiceover portion. But I will share all of the free music that I have, and I'm pretty sure that the link that I have might give you a discount as well. So I'll drop that down below. But yes, oh my gosh, such a good question. How do I legally sell Disney-themed items I've made without getting copywritten? So from what I understand, again, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand, if it's inspired by, I think you're okay. But at the same time, maybe as a starting point, yes. But I think a lot of companies do this, and I think a lot of Etsy shops do this. But if you were to grow beyond and kind of innovate and make it inspired by, but you don't need to have like a Mickey logo on there, I think that'll almost bring you more joy too. So use it as a starting point, but set a goal for yourself to innovate beyond. And I just think that having that one restriction of being, careful about the legalities of it should be the thing that pushes you to just get creative with it and use those creative juices. How long did it take before you were able to get a following and really start seeing an income? So I had set little miniature goals as I grew. So there was never a point in my business where even 3 months in, I was still making money. But was it like $1 million after a month? No. And by the way, if that is ever promised to you in a business, that's freaking weird, and that doesn't happen. I think in any traditional business, you will spend money, invest it back into your business if you're a smart business owner, and you will basically invest the time and the money of whatever you have free back into your business. So I had done that, and in the beginning, it was incremental as it grew. But what I did, and I think that this is really where I think it makes a big difference for you and your own goals, is set those incremental goals for yourself. Set bite-sized chunk goals. I think it's really easy for someone to start a business and be like, I want to make $1 million in this business. Cool. That's going to be far away. So what I did is I broke it down to what would help me, maybe get halfway to what I need to make a week so that I could quit my full-time job. So I wrote out that number. So let's say it's $1,000 a week. That's like your pie in the sky goal. Okay, so a year from me starting my business, I want to be making $1,000 a week. What do I need to do in 6 months to get there to that? So I need to make $500 a week in 6 months, right? Just break it in half. And then in 3 months, what do I need to make? $250 a week. So I would set miniature milestones, and I knew what actions would be associated to those mini milestones. So nothing came as a surprise. And I always share this with my team. This was literally the theme of the week on Team Uproar. I told them, like, what you want to achieve for the year of 2021, chunk it down so that when the time comes that you've achieved this goal, it's been so bite-sized along the way that when it comes, you're like, duh, of course I achieved it. It's not a shock. And it's also, the reason that you do this is that it's not a shock when it doesn't happen, because you're on pace to hit it. That's why I think far too many people get to the end of the year and go, okay, 2022 is gonna be my year and then I'm gonna kill it. It's because you set no bite-sized chunkable goals leading up to that big deadline. So bite-size it, set metrics that you actually wanna hit, and if that's an income number, then that's an income number. Did you work with someone when starting out on YouTube and on Instagram and how to learn? So what I did is I looked at a lot of people. So example, whenever I was on Instagram, I looked at just a great example. I've always liked Buff Bunny, so I followed her on Instagram and more so on YouTube, and I just kind of looked at what she did. I had a couple of just inspirations of people that I liked the way that they posted, and I kind of looked at what they did. I just never wanted to become a watered down version of them, so I just really tried to be inspired without duplicating what they did. And really, I will tell you, the best person that you're ever going to learn from on social media is yourself. The more that you can post, the more you're going to find yourself, the more you're going to find what works, the more you're going to figure out what your audience wants to see. That's the biggest difference. So the answer is no, not really. I didn't really learn from anybody. The best thing I ever did was set a goal that, on YouTube, 1 October, I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and let's just do a video every single day for the month of October. And that was, what would it be now, 4 years ago? So that's how it started. And I just got better and better and better from there. And I'm not saying to do a video every single day, but I'm saying maybe do a video every single week. Do a post every single day on Instagram, or maybe 5 posts every single week on Instagram, and you'll get better and better because you'll see what your audience wants. They'll speak to you and they will naturally grow. That's one metric, by the way, that you can control. You can't control how many followers you have. You can't control how many comments you get or how many likes you get, which, by the way, is so superficial. You can control how much content you put out. And I guarantee you that one will equal the other in time. You just have to be patient. You have to be consistent. Okay, so this question is a 2-part question. What are your top YouTube growth tips? And did you feel scared of people finding your videos at first? So my top growth tip is to put out content. Like I said, do videos consistently, put them out, talk about stuff that you love. And no, I was not scared for why would you put yourself out there on YouTube or on Instagram with the fear of someone finding you? You know what you're doing? You're driving forward with the brakes on if you do that. So whatever it is that is freaking you out, know that it is not that scary. Someone out there will gain tremendous value from something that you have to learn. Be confident in yourself and start putting out content. Did you go to school to study for business? Also, what made you start YouTube? I love your videos. Thank you. By Hustle or Day. I love your IG name. So I went to school for architecture, which has nothing to do with anything that I do. The only thing that I guess it would have a little bit to do with is design and art and, creativity in some way, shape, or form. But I think the first year that I started my architecture degree, I knew that I wasn't going to be an architect. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It didn't juice me. I loved what I did in school because you could do anything, right? You could design a building shaped like whatever the heck you wanted. And if it didn't really stand up in real life, it didn't really stand up in real life. But I knew that when I graduated, that my job would probably entail me working for someone else, drawing floor plans, and I didn't want to do that. So I've been like this since I'm young, where I just had this dream to work for myself, work for my own goals, live something far greater than I was surrounded by. And I still feel like this to this day. Often I tell Andre, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I know that there's bigger things out there for me. And that has just kind of festered and grown over the years, ever since I'm, first year university. So I studied architecture, had nothing to do with what I did as a career, but I think that that's something to maybe learn from, that just because you studied something doesn't mean that that needs to be your forever goal. And thinking outside the box is okay. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of love right now. Disappointing people is okay too. Because I remember whenever I've told my grandmother, I told my parents that I wasn't going to go on and do my master's. So I graduated. I have my bachelor's in architecture, but the end goal is that you get your master's and you become an architect. And I knew I didn't want to do that. And it was right around when I was going to start the business that I have now. And people were so disappointed. People were not only shocked, they were completely disappointed in me. And it was a really hard thing to stick to my guns and go after this, but it just gave me that zest that much more to want to go after it. So that hopefully answers your question. I did not study business. I figured it out along the way. And my husband, Andre, actually studied business, and he, I will say, although he studied it, just has a natural business sense, and I think that I've picked that up since we've been together for so dang long. I've been with him since I'm 15, so I think I picked up on that business acumen a little bit over the years, but we've both always been very business-oriented, always wanted to have our own business, always wanted to work for ourselves, and not have to say yes to a boss or ask permission of a boss and just live by the beat of our own drum. And the second part of that question was, what made you start YouTube? What made me start YouTube was actually my incredible disdain for the way that, that's a strong word, for the way that Instagram was going. I hated it. And I'm just going to be super real with you. I went through a phase where I wasn't posting on Instagram at all because I was just so, I'm going to use another really strong word, disgusted by the way it was going, especially in the fitness industry. I thought that it was absolutely ridiculous that to be popular, you had to wear lace panties to a gym, let me finish, with chains wrapped around your waist and be doing pull-ups in videos. That was literally where it was going. Now, we've taken a complete U-turn and gone in the other direction, and it's way more real and way more authentic. But when I first got started as a coach, fitness on Instagram was discouraging, to say the least. If I was literally told, if you're gonna drink, don't post it on your page. If you're gonna have pizza, don't post it on your page. And I just thought, what is this world? So I just felt so out of touch with my following, and I didn't feel like I could be my authentic self. And I realized that I really liked going live on Instagram. So I thought, what if I can just do video and people can get to know me so much more? I think that it's one thing to share a photo, and that's great, but I think that's why people love stories so much. You get to see people's real life, and I just think YouTube is on a whole other level of that. If right now we're kind of just, sitting down, having a coffee and chatting, and Carl is completely asleep, and I don't know, can you guys see his little feet down there? Like, this is what I love about YouTube. Like, it's just it's so real, and you get to know that person on such a deeper level that was what made me fall in love with it. The deeper connection to the audience, the more loyal connection to the audience. Also, it wasn't just some fair weather following or some fair weather connection. Like, I really feel like I have such a deeper connection and such a deeper, I would say loyalty to you guys. Like, it's just so much more ingrained in me. So that was what made me want to get started. My deep-rooted anger towards the direction in which Instagram was going. And I'm proud to say that I feel like Instagram has kind of come back around, and fitness, although it still exists where you see those posts, it's not like that anymore, which I love. And my brand itself has kind of evolved. I don't even talk about fitness that much. I definitely believe in mental health and physical health and just being your best self. But more than that, just being freaking happy and confident. I think that's my brand. So that's where I think my business kind of grows through that. But this whole idea of doing, literally, it was a trend. It was like, let's do pull-ups in booty shorts, but like underwear, and like wrap some chains, and I'm gonna wear like a lace bra, and what? And I remember I would see that and think, no, this is not good. This cannot be the direction that we're going in. So that's where it came from. Okay, so there is a question about how to get such beautiful pictures on the pictures I have on my website. Like the generic food and fitness pics she's asking. So they're not me that took these pictures, most of them. Some of them they are, and some of them I'm actually in them, so obviously I took the picture. But you can go on Canva or PicMonkey, and they have libraries of pictures of food and, girls in bikinis, and that's usually what I use as extra pictures. So if you don't have time to take a picture for your website for yourself, having these match your branding can help you a ton. And that's just, a little time hack for you, but also just things that will match what you're doing. Example, right now, I cannot go to a restaurant and go take a picture of a bunch of me and my friends cheersing with a glass of champagne. If I need a picture like that, I can find it on Canva and PicMonkey, which that takes me to another, it's so funny. A lot of people are saying like, when are you going to film videos outside of your house? I'm like, I can't go outside of my house. I can go for a walk. I can take you for a walk with me if you guys want to see that. I can do that, but there is literally nothing open. So we can go to a grocery store and we can go to a drugstore. I think other than that, everything's closed, which we're just staying at home. Like, we get our groceries delivered, but I just wanted to address that. It's not that I don't want to. I'm dying. Oh, Andre and I booked a trip to Florida, by the way. So that is all happening soon. Okay, there's a lot of questions about this. Advice on how to come out of your shell, be yourself, and not care what other people think. And there's a lot of questions about how to have more confidence on video. I'm really intimidated on where to start. So I will tell you, the best way to do this is to flip your psyche. Think about what it is that you're scared of and where your mindset is at with that. I'm scared of that X, Y, and Z person will judge, or what if people see it? What if there's no views? All just that. Okay, so what if you were to keep holding yourself back for 3 months and what that would mean to the growth of your business? What would that mean in 6 months in the growth of your business? What would that mean in 9 months in the growth of your business? You probably would not be moving forward. I can blow your mind a little bit more. What would that mean in a year from now in terms of lack of income coming in, that you need this business? How about just the happiness levels of progress? Progress in your business and in life equals happiness. If you ever feel unhappy during the day or in a certain moment, or it's just kind of all bundled into one and you're like, oh my gosh, this is snowballed and I just feel so, it's probably because of progress. It's probably because you didn't feel like either in that day or that week or that month. And that's where it can kind of start to snowball out of control and start to feel like the biggest weight on your shoulders when you don't progress. And I don't mean to make you feel, I know that this is going to hit a lot of people because this would probably make me upset. And I've been there where my life is not going, it's gone way past 9, 12 months where I'm like, this isn't the way that I wanted to go. And that lack of progress, I felt was like the weight of the world on my shoulders. I'm telling you, if you can just progress by like a millimeter today on one goal that you have, it will transform your life. If you've never seen my plan, like my goal planning video, it's pretty recent. Go do that and set some goals for yourself this month and move forward even by a millimeter, a little buy the domain, which I mean like the www.yourname.com, buy that today. And if you want to start a blog or you want to start, like, go buy that, you will feel like $1 million. You know why? Because it's progress. So I will tell you that if you can just flip your mindset in terms of, you know, what will your life look like a year from now? If you can't get over it and you're so scared about what people are going to say, they're winning, first of all, but what does your life look like? Where is it lacking? What I always think about is, you know, what does my family life look like? Like, how have I affected my husband? How have I affected my future? How many less places in the world am I going to see? How many dreams am I going to have to say no to? What am I going to have to say no to? Like, if you have kids, what do you have to say no to for that? The one that gets me every time is, who are the people that I'll never meet? Who, even now, I think back, I have chills. If I would have given up on my business, like, don't get me wrong, there was hard parts in my business. My God, it's like any business, it's hard. And in the beginning, especially, and there were parts in that first year and that second year where, you know, I didn't know if I could do it. I didn't know if I was, you know, woman enough to do it. I compared myself to other people. I didn't know if I had what it took. And I think about, if I had given up back then, who would I have never met? Who would I not know? What experiences would I have never had? Like, it's crazy to think. And it's super emotional because I'm so grateful that I didn't give up, because there are literally coaches on my team that are here now and succeeding now because of the butterfly effect that I didn't give up. So I'm not saying I had a hand in their success. They did it. But if I would have given up, I don't know how if they would have had that journey. So think about that, who you're robbing, what you're robbing from yourself, your family. And if you can't do it for you, do it for your family, do it for the people you love most, and get over your damn self, because you've got this. It's really not that scary. What platform do I use to edit and share my videos? I, for the longest time, used iMovie, which is free, and that's why I'm sharing it, because it's free and that's where I got started. I set a goal that when I hit, I think it was 20,000 followers. And I know that might seem like a big number, but that was the number I had in my head. And it was because I followed someone else that had that many followers and I really respected her. And I thought, when I hit that, I will get Final Cut Pro, because Final Cut Pro is $300 and I didn't have that. So I thought, I will hit the goal and then I will get the things. Often people with social media, YouTube, they will want all of the equipment and all of the bells and whistles, you know, will want the best editing software, the best camera, the best everything. My advice on that is, set a goal of a thing that you want to achieve in either your business, something that you want to, you know, hit in terms of income, or maybe a certain level in your business or rank, and go from there. If it's amount of followers, cool, do that. But when you hit that, then permit yourself to buy the said piece of equipment, because one, you'll appreciate so much more, but you'll also realize that it's not the piece of equipment or the editing software that's going to get you there. So I used iMovie to start, is great software, and then I upgraded to Final Cut Pro, and I love it. And I know that there is Premiere Pro, is that the other one? There's another one, I don't use the other one. And the reason that I know how to use these is I had one video editing class in architecture and I knew how to use these softwares. There was a big learning curve and a lot of tears and a lot of frustrating moments where you want to throw your computer out the window. So if you've ever been there, I'm with you. But you can also outsource this too. You can hire someone to do this just online for you. So that's how I do it. And then to share the videos is obviously YouTube, or I have a second Instagram page called Angie Belmar Vlogs. It goes hand in hand with the YouTube page, and I share the daily grind on that. I do IGTV. So if you want to do an IGTV with your videos, do that. If you don't want to be on YouTube, just share it there. So Do you think, okay, another question. Do you think it's, I say another question, there's many questions. I'm trying to go as fast as I can through these. Do you think it's worth it to have your own website? Yeah, I do. Even just a landing page. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but yeah, I definitely do. My feet are asleep. Pause while I work my way through this. Does anybody else deal with this? Because it happens to me all the time and it's agonizing. Tips and tricks for videos and pictures and posting on Instagram. I had done, and I get asked this question a lot about, how do you edit and do you have a preset? And I know that I should have a preset. If you guys would like me to make a preset, let's just end this here. If you would like me to make a preset, just comment down below and let me know. But I did a video on my vlog channel, so it's Angie Belmar Vlogs, and that, I want to talk about that. I'm going to dive into that in a bit, but I love that channel because that is like the cool kids table. It is not even the, it's not, I'm not saying like it's better. I'm not saying the people that follow over there are better. They're just even more my type of people. So this channel I think is very widespread and we talk about all sorts of things, but then that channel almost dials it in more to the type of people that want to learn about goal setting and the type of people that want to, achieve bigger things in life. And I love that channel. So on there, I had done a video about how I edit my pictures and I literally like screen recorded me editing a photo. And I think that was probably super helpful to a lot of people. So if you've never seen that, that's what I would suggest. There's a question on how I time block every single day where I allocate the time throughout the day to each task. So I will tell you that if you struggle with this, set a timer. I just got a cute little, you can get a kitchen timer, you can get this little cube off of Amazon. So I have one that's like a pink strawberry and it's like a vintage type of, like those old tomatoes. My grandmothers each had those. So you could do that and time block, but I like the cube one because it has 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. So let's say I have to edit a video, I'll set the timer and I just get hyper aware of what I'm doing. The other thing I do is I chunk out my day. I do a game plan every single day. I feel like we need a new plan with me because I've already updated my planner, but I do just hour time blocks. And I know based off the top 3 things that will move the needle that day, progress equals happiness. I know that those things are going to move me forward. So that's really how I chunk out my day. I just get really, really real about where my time is going. Oh, this is such a good question. We're gonna go in deep to this in our 3-day private group, but how much time passed since you started with YouTube and to see any rewards? So I think, well, if you mean the reward, like the actual plaque, you have to have 100,000 subscribers to get that, which is super exciting. And I was really excited to get my little plaque. And then I think it's 1 million after that, which that's a reward, but I think you mean money. It is such a misconception. It is such a misconception that YouTubers make all of this money. I think many YouTubers that have millions and millions of subscribers have brand endorsements, which is how they make the majority of their money. But you know what? It's crazy how YouTube is so up and down, where one month I can make X amount of money and another month I can make like no money. It's crazy how volatile it is. And it's also crazy how much of a misconception it is as to the fact that people think that you make a ton of money on YouTube. You don't. You really don't. So I would say to get informed. Whatever business it is that you want to do. One thing that I used to do was look at these girls that were like sponsored by fitness companies. And that's what I wanted to do. Whenever I first started my business, I would look at all these sponsorships and all these influencers and that's what I wanted to do. And then I gained knowledge on the subject. I did my research and I just thought, oh, they actually don't get paid that much. Yeah, they might get a lot of free leggings, but what's it worth to you? Just make enough money in your business that you can buy the leggings that you want to buy. So I kind of started to see things differently the more that I was exposed to it and just the more research I did. So don't be fooled that, being a YouTuber, I think as a means to having an amazing audience and to deliver great content should be your number one priority. And I've heard this before. Many amazing YouTubers, Casey Neistat is one person that said this, the most amazing YouTubers, they often didn't turn on monetization, which is just, I think when you hit 10,000 followers, don't quote me because I'm one of those people that I don't know. And I think that it's such an honorable trait that other YouTubers have said this. And I was like, I did that, so that's got to mean something great. But it was never about the money for me. It was never about the ads. So basically the way YouTube works is when there's an ad, you make money, which is also why I see this comment all the time. If you ever commented this, I love you. So many of you guys have said, yay, Angie, for a 30+ minute video and no ads in between. I think that is asinine. If someone wants to sit down with me for 30+ minutes, it is my mission in life to thank you as much as I can. I'm not going to slap you across the face. Like, please hold tight. And I just picture like elevator music. Please watch this ad so that you can continue watching me. Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. Like if there's an ad at the beginning, sure. But that's usually about it, I think. Unless the way that the creator does it is you choose what ads go out. So a YouTuber will then get paid based off of how many ads I think is through their video. And then there can also be ads on the side, pop up on the bottom. Sometimes I don't always click the right one, but for the most part, that's not what it's about for me. So I don't really notice that. But when you hit 10,000 subscribers, you can turn on AdSense, and I didn't, because I didn't know that I could. And I've heard that from so many other YouTubers. Like they hit, I think Casey said he hit like 1 million subscribers before he had turned it on, because he just didn't, it wasn't his primary goal, which it can't be. If income is your primary goal, it can be a goal and it should be a goal, but it needs to be either what the income will provide, which memories they will create for you in your life. It needs to be deeper than X amount of dollars. It's why do you want that? And also, if your business or what you're doing on social media doesn't juice you in the least and it's just dollars, 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 you got to find some passion. You got to connect that to some level of growth for yourself, to some level of reason why you want it, and not just the numbers and the dollars. I love you, but it's true. So one thing I did is I got a couple of your questions in my DMs, and I tried to reply back to every single person, like, I'll answer this. So Maggie asked me a question: how do you create content when nothing is going on? And we all probably know this more than anybody right now, but you know, I feel like I would be a great example of that. I have nothing going on. I have not left the house. I can't go to, so the main part of my channel, and a lot of you guys are like, are you going to do a decorate with me? I'm like, I can't go to a Michael's. I can't go anywhere. I can't go to HomeSense. I can't go to Home Goods. I can't go to Winners. And that's a huge part of my brand, is decorating. Now, do I let that stop me? No, that's an outside factor. So when you have nothing going on, document, don't create. What I mean by this is setting up and feeling like you have to stage your content and, you know, take a bunch of pictures that aren't really what you're doing. The best pictures and the best videos you're ever going to take are in that moment. One of my favorite recent pictures on my Instagram is the one where I'm wearing like the rainbow sweater and I'm just sitting at the cottage. That was taken on a whim. I just was feeling the feels and I took the picture, and I like it because it's just so real. So that type of stuff is really how I would say, you know, if you feel like you've got nothing going on, trust me, it's entertaining to other people. The other day, I completely reorganized my fridge, and it was fascinating to a lot of you guys. So I shared it. So hopefully that's helpful, but I want to dive in way more to that on my vlog channel. The other question I want to dive in a lot, there's so many questions about this. Where is it? How do you deal with people that leave mean comments? So I could go on about this forever, because part of me, one, wants to see you succeed far beyond, you know, pausing or stopping or even wasting 5 minutes on a mean comment. So my kind of rule of thumb is, if someone leaves an opinionated comment and it's just a healthy debate, that's fine. If they're not hurting anybody and it's just their opinion without being mean, then that's fine. But if they're there to just be mean, I think it is absolutely hilarious that someone would spend, 20 minutes probably crafting a pretty lengthy negative post, or even, longer than that, just swirling and being upset about something and then leaving it, when it takes the creator 0.5 seconds to delete said comment. Now, I've seen this before of, such and such influencer deletes her negative comments or deletes comments. Yeah, I would too. If you leave a mean comment that is just mean-spirited either to someone else in the comments or to me, and it is helping or serving in no way, shape, or form, no, you can live under your dark cloud, but we don't have to, so I delete it. Now, that's number one. If someone has done that, just delete it. And if you really want to, block them. But if that person is coming from a space of, just really not understanding where you're coming from and really just doesn't see eye to eye with you or thinks that you're batshit crazy, that's okay. Because here's one, and I'll just use me as an example, I don't mind, but I don't get a lot of negative comments at all, especially on Instagram. I think people are a bit more brave on YouTube, but when they do come through on YouTube, it's often men, which is really funny. And I think that this stems from, I think that and I just want to cheers to you guys right now, because I think that there's a lot of women on here, and it's very rare that women support women in this world. And I think that we've kind of created that space here. So you guys are freaking awesome. And I know that there's a lot of dudes that follow that are super positive. And to you guys, you are the rare breed of man that doesn't have a tiny level of confidence, because the guys that leave the comments on my gym videos or my Disney, I don't know, they're just a whole other planet of person, which is great. And that is my message to you. You have a planet of people that you are probably trying to attract to your business, to your social media, that just get you, that they understand who you are as a person, no matter what it is that you love, no matter what it is that you share, they just get you, right? If someone doesn't, it's almost better that they out themselves now. It's like, state your cause before entering, and they do, and you're like, okay, cool, noted. Bye. So that way you kind of know, and that way you would have, it should almost bring you a little bit of peace of mind because you would have never wanted that person as a customer or client anyways, correct? So you're good. The other thing to really, really note with this, and again, this can be its whole other video, but I try and look at a couple things. Whenever I see negativity or negative opinions, this was another question. There was a question that came in about what do you do with the negative stigma of, let's say you're in an MLM business. Okay, one, search, and I can't speak for every business because I don't know every business, but I can speak to what I do. And I will tell you that I did my research. I also looked at people that I trusted that had been doing it for a long freaking time. And now that I've been doing this for 8 years, I know it's legit. It's not just some business that popped up for 6 months and, came to fruition. There's people that have been doing this for 10 plus years, and they're incredibly humble, incredibly amazing, successful people. So with that, I just kind of did my research. I listened, I learned, I looked at what they were doing, and I just formed my own opinion. Now, I think that the internet is a really funny thing, and with I wanted to address like the mean comments or mean things said. If you look at the opinions of others and you look at where you're taking the opinions of others, are you taking it from someone that always seems to have a problem with other people and it's everybody else that's the problem and they're just overall very negative centric? I often think of that example, whenever in Mean Girls, whenever Regina George is like, oh my God, I love your bracelet, it's so cute. And she's like, that is the ugliest effing bracelet I've ever seen. And then she realizes that she had said it to her, the sweater or whatever, and she realizes she had said it to her. That is how I think of friendships. I think of people that I trust on social media and I trust their opinion. If they seem to talk smack about every other person, who's to say that they're not going to do it about me or that they just don't do it about everything and that's just how they live their life? So I'm always very mindful about, one, where my source of information is coming from. And I think that there is this trend going on right now that it is really easy to pull up a video. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these videos. I think they're hilarious. Not that I watch them. I think it's hilarious that people spend time doing this, but that they basically will pull up someone's video no matter what it's about. It can be about how someone did their hair or what, just literally they'll just pull it up and they will make fun of that person. This was literally just done about me, by the way, by a dude, go figure. But literally they'll pull up the video and they'll just go, oh, and they'll pause it and they'll laugh about it. And every time without fail, the cover photo is always one of these. Like the ugliest face they could possibly make. They just kind of like, to me, so one, I acknowledge my source. And if it's all negative, you kind of can tell that that's just how the person is. Two, if that is how someone is spending their time, I also know where the source is coming from, right? Like, I just think that the world we live in right now, if someone is either it's bad combination, bored and unhappy, and like I said, not seeing progress in their own life, that's not on you. So all of that to say, I don't want you guys to ever think that, it's not difficult, especially in the beginning, but it gets easier and easier and easier because once you get one negative comment and it takes the 2 seconds to delete it or the 2 seconds to go, cool, bro, and you keep going, it doesn't need to mess up your day. It doesn't need to even affect your goals. It doesn't need to pause you for even 5 seconds. You can keep going. So with any negative comments of what it is you do for a living, they might be a dinosaur if they think that certain business models don't work. But I think that over the past 12 months working from home and growing, at least for me, it's worked. And I just assess your source. That's what I would say. Assess your source. And if someone does leave negative comments, delete, block, keep going, man, because you will be glad that you did. So someone asked, how can we see success if we feel like we're such a simple person? How can we be different than other people? There is something that makes you special, but I will tell you the only way that you're going to figure it out is when you start posting a lot, put out a lot of content, there will be something that people are going to be drawn to. Whenever I first started making videos, they're really old now, but I had done a bunch of fitness videos and I didn't really feel alive when I was doing them. I honestly felt like not that juiced about it. And then one day I shared a Disney video that took off and I thought, okay, well, my audience really wants to hear about Disney. Your audience will always tell you what they want to hear. Then one day I did I think I just randomly decorated something. Oh, wow. I thought, okay, so one, it will shine through that you truly love it. There is things that you geek out about, I'm sure, that you might even be hiding. Let that out and share it. So on that note, I know that there was another question about what do I share? How do I keep my private life private? And how do I differentiate what I share on social media and what I keep private? It's your choice. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of stuff that you probably don't know about me that I do in an average day, or things that you don't see. And I always joke about this, but just because you didn't see it doesn't make it that it didn't happen. You know, me taking Carl for a walk every single day, I don't document that every single day. And I just think it's funny that I'll literally get questions, people like, do you not walk your dog? Yeah. I also go to the washroom like 15 times a day or more, but I don't document that. So it's really up to you. There can be personal things, you know, even down to a TV show that you watch that you want to keep to yourself, or a book that you read that you want to keep to yourself, or a family member that you want to keep. If you have a kid, you don't have to share every single piece of your life. You know, I think that there's actually something admirable to be said about, you know, you can go out to dinner with your spouse when, bless your heart, if you can go out to dinner, because that I'm counting down the days so I can go out to dinner with my spouse. But when Andre and I have dinner together, our phones aren't out at all. And it's crazy to me because Andre and I's jobs is literally on social media, and we can be around people that their job has nothing to do with social media and they will be on their phones more. I think that it's a beautiful thing when you can let go of sharing every single moment. And that's where the documenting, not creating, having blocked time where you document your day and you share and you create content, and the rest is spent actually enjoying the fruits of your labor in your life. And I think that's a beautiful place to be, where you don't always have to have your head in your phone. I have an idea for a business. How do I actually get started? Do one small thing. I mentioned this already, but I think that's a really powerful thing. Do one tiny little 1 millimeter thing today. Go buy the domain name and you will feel so good about it. I want to say that and this is like a huge shout out right now, but David, I'm a fan of David. He always asks really good questions. This is such a good question. What was your this could be something moment? My this could be something moment? That's a dang good question. I was 3 months into my business. We went out to dinner with Andre's parents, and many of my stories have to do with going out to dinner. We went out to dinner with Andre's parents, and Andre's dad asked, how's your business going? And I lit up. I told him I had made like, I don't know, a couple $100. I think I made like $400 that week. And I was blown away, because it wasn't about the dollars. It was about the fact that I was so jazzed by what I was doing, how I was actually helping people feel confident, and it was on a whole other scale. Like, I had always wanted to help people feel confident, but this was on another level. And I was just proud. I felt the momentum. I felt the progress, and there was money to show for it. And I told him, and I remember his face. He was just like, I think the level of conviction in what I said gave him the level of conviction right back to me. Like, he mirrored it back to me of, wow, okay, so this is happening. And he just loved how excited I was. And I remember then thinking to myself, like, this is legit. This is a thing, but not because of the dollars. It was like, that was just the check mark on all of the rest of like the entire Sunday. It was like, that was the cherry on top of the Sunday. And that was my moment where I thought, this is legit. This is for real. How important is Facebook versus Instagram? Your personal Facebook is the people you already know. You already have a rapport with those people, so don't ignore your Facebook. I think so many people, including myself, we go over to Instagram thinking we're gonna be like the next influencer, and I tried to do that, and I completely ignored Facebook, and I ended up going back to Facebook and kind of gathering there. You know, the beautiful thing is you can share from one platform to another. This is literally, by the way, the entire premise of my ebook. It's called Build a Content Machine. If you guys aren't following, there's an Instagram page associated with it. I have videos about it, but basically what it is ultimately this idea that you can be everywhere on the internet without working to be everywhere on the internet. Just work smart. And I just think that so many people let go of certain platforms and don't bother with certain platforms when there's so many eyes over there. And it's like, we want to go play elsewhere when you have a platform that could be leading everything else. So go check that out. It's called Build a Content Machine. It's on my website. And it's literally all about that concept. How can I promote myself on my stories without being too pushy? Well, one, don't be pushy. Believe in your product. Believe in what it is that you have. And if you don't, then move on. But if what you have is something that can genuinely help people and you believe that, then stick to your guns. But where I come at this is I hate braggadocious people, but I think that the difference, the line between bragging and being grateful is so fine. And don't cross that line. But if you just focus on what it is that you love and what you're grateful for and how it helped you, and just focusing it on your own story, then that's not being pushy. That's just sharing your own, what worked for you. You know, it's really easy for us to say, I just watched this amazing series on Netflix, you should watch it. But we have so much trouble saying, hey, this is my business solution and I came up with this and this is what I do for a living. I really think it would help you. And we have so much trouble saying that because what? You would benefit from it? I don't think anybody's going to judge you for that. And if someone does, they're not your type of person. I can't say the number because I don't want to get in trouble and I also don't even want to talk like that. But someone said, how did you become through being a coach? So I currently, which is, I hate talking about this stuff just on the note of like braggadocious, is not even, I think there's such a misconception with, you know, ranking and where someone can be ranked in a company or their position even. And having started my business 8 years ago, I never thought that our team, which I had founded as Team Uproar 8 years ago, would be ranked number one. And ultimately what that means is not just like Angie's killing it and Angie's doing the thing. And I hate how they say that coach is number one because it's not the Angie show. To me, it really is that Andre and I don't think that it should be Angie. I think it should be Angie and Andre, and Team Uproar. And I just think that the family that is Team Uproar, it's them, it's their success. So it means ultimately that Andre and I are dang good at helping people get started and see success. To me, that's really what it means. And it means that they're killing it. It means that they're achieving their goals. It means that they're achieving their dreams. And that would be the answer as to how we did it. But we put our head down, we freaking worked. Over the past 12 months, I would say, instead of getting distracted by a lot of external noises and distractions and things that are going on, we kept our head down, we stayed focused, and we helped our coaches do the same because there was an opportunity over the last 12 months to build a freaking life of your dreams. And if there was ever proof right now that building a business from home, from your kitchen table, was a way to live your freaking life, this was it. And while getting healthy and fit from home, which is literally the encompassment of what it is that we do as coaches. And I think it's the best damn job in the world. And yes, in the beginning, I didn't know how to explain it and I felt unsure. And now, especially over the past 12 months, like, you want to challenge me on this? Bring it on, because I freaking believe in this and I'm seeing the success firsthand in all of the stories on our team, from the 100-pound weight loss transformations of Judy that I shared with you guys. By the way, voting is coming up for that and you guys better have her back because she's got to win this thing. I'm so dang proud of her. From the extreme stories like that, like 100+ pounds lost, to people just changing their lives with this business and making this their full-time job and just completely transforming their families' lives, and just more than that, just being freaking happier than they ever have been. That's what makes me happy. So I think that there's something to be said about that. That's what juices me. That's what we've been doing. And I will say that is why we are currently ranked numero uno, which is blows my mind. I never thought that I would be saying that. I still think it's uncomfortable to say it because I never want to come off as bragging or anything like that. I'm just, to quote my own tip, I am extremely just grateful for it. And I try and share it as much as I can without ever coming off weird. But it is kind of cool that that's just the path that we've taken in life, and it was all built through social media. So with that said, I'm going to go through all of this in a private setting on a private platform group that will be VIP only. And every single person is welcome to join. Just please don't, if you're already a coach, don't join, because if you're on Team Uproar, you already have the Team Uproar universe and you have training. But this will literally be an in-depth, like, let's go through what it is that I did, what it is that I built, how I did it, how you can do it too. All the, ups and downs that I overcame and my top tips to you guys. And I'll be going live every single day as well. We can do little 10-minute, I would say 20-minute workshops and just hang out together for 3 days. So it'll kick off live on Wednesday of next week. I don't know the exact date. Let's be professional and get a date. On the 26th. So it'll kick off live on the 26th, and then day one will be the 27th. So it's going to be one heck of a way to end the month of May, but in a private setting, I think it'll be special. You guys can ask whatever you want, hang out with me live, and that will be kicking off. So I'll leave the link to join that at the top down below. I will leave the link to all the things that I promised, where I get my music. I will leave the link to my ebook. I will leave the link to all of the things for you guys. I hope that this was helpful. I will definitely take a couple of these questions, maybe the ones that I haven't answered that I'm seeing a lot of, and go answer them in depth in 3 separate segments on my vlog page for you guys. Just quick, like 10 minutes or less videos of just debunking a couple of business, social media type questions. I really hope that this was helpful for you guys. I love the crap out of you. Thank you for making this an amazing platform. And I really meant what I said about, having a platform where women support women and you guys are just a special family. And to the dudes on here, you are a special breed. You really are. And I notice that more than ever because you shine. Like, you really do shine through. You guys are gentlemen. You guys are amazing. You guys are hustlers and just such freaking positive people. So to the ladies and dudes and all of the people that follow and all the walks of life, I just love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And I hope that this served you, and I hope that this answered all of the questions as transparently as possible with a little bit of sass. I said that there would be. I pre-warned you. So Carl has not moved this entire time. So we will see you guys on my other channel probably very soon. I love you guys. If this was helpful, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below with any questions that you might have if you're going to be in that 3-day group or just whatever. If this was helpful, let me know down below, because I always read your comments and your questions, and I just love you guys. So I will see you next time. Bye, dudes.